telling that they sit there in the dark and they go, geez, what I am, that they have that sense of unpredictability and jeopardy, but they're aware of the skill of the performers in the sense of there being that this. I remember Marie Mullen from Druid Theatre Company telling me one time that she said, we decided very early on that irrespective of what play we were doing, we would work hard at it. So that gives the audience some sort of assurance that these people aren't casual in their approach, that these people are taking the art form of play seriously. And I think that's what they do in the Abbey. And I think that's what gives you the entitlement to say to people, come and see this.
So you work very hard to tighten this thing up with discipline and everything else, but then you want it to express some unpredictable chaos.
The example would be this conversation we're having right now. So we had no idea what we were going to talk about, and we know that we have 30 minutes to fill, and we know we're responding and listening to each other, and if one person goes quiet, the other person starts talking. So there's a kind of a chaos in that we don't know exactly where this conversation is going to go. But there's a level of skill in the fact that we can both listen and we can both talk, and we're delivering some sort of distraction, or...
You would hope so, wouldn't you? or else we're two middle-aged men crawling up our own fundamentals. Like, I'm not sure which it is.
Is this actually on the road? Is this a rehearsal?
This is the trick, like, to forget we're on the radio, which is the greatest danger and the greatest liberation, yeah?
We're getting texts.
No, it's happening. It's happening live as well, yeah.
So it's like that.
Yeah. There's no going back, Tommy.
It's done. Sure.
Yeah.
So we're halfway through it now. It's that thing of what is it? Of chaos between borders. That's what I think. That's what the sense of aliveness.
Yeah.
That's what's attractive. That's what's
invigorating.
invigorating.
And you need to be in something to get out of it as well. There needs to be the borders.
Of course. So
Or it's just this.
Yeah.
Come here.
You've been hard on us now, but I think we're different quality stuff here.
So then, and it's kind of, I can understand now a bit more about the other thing you're doing at the moment, which is Between Dog and Wolf. So you're doing a storytelling tour in September, October, and this was a storyteller, Martin Shaw. People will have seen him on your show. What can people expect from that? What will that look like?
So Martin is one of the most generous and interesting storytellers around. Martin tells fables, fairy tales, stories from Russia, England, America, everywhere. I'm not sure what stories he's going to be telling, but that's his profession. He's a storyteller. And I've always been curious about Irish folk tales and why they seem so boring and why they seem dead. To me, to read a folk tale in a book is reading its obituary. It's lifeless. There's nothing there. So it's about going back to stories like the story of the Tawn, the story of Mad Sweeney, the story of Usheen. I'm wondering, can you breathe life back into them? Can you make them unpredictable? Can you hold an audience's attention? And then there's the types of stories that people like Peg and Tommaso Croghan would have told, kind of folk tales from an area. And I'm really curious about not asking anything of the audience, not asking the audience to indulge me, not asking the audience to have patience while I get through the story. It's saying, can you make the story of the Tawn live again? Are you able to do that? And so, for example, I say if I'm doing a stand-up tour, they're often in big boozy rooms. There's any amount of drink taken, there is a kind of a swelling expectation of crack. And that's phenomenally challenging. But I'm also interested in telling other stories on those types of stages. Other dark, weird, holy, anarchic, pagan Irish stories. But
you want people to be quiet, yeah?
No.
Is the boozy rooms getting challenging for you? Yeah.
The boozy rooms are challenging for anybody.
Yeah.
Ask a guard, man. The boozy rooms are challenging for anybody. I don't want people to quiet. That's the thing. I'm not asking anything of them. I'm curious to see if I can bring folk tales to that environment.
Okay. It's funny, like in a way, that's kind of almost avant-garde. Like it's kind of a very, and in a way, are you going back more and more? Which I think a lot of people are. There's this kind of revival of the old ways and a connection with the old traditions and all that kind of thing.
No, I've always had an interest in them. They're there. They're it's kind of a dead heritage. Do you know what I mean? These stories are they've been left kind of atrophying. And it's about trying to breathe life back into them. But it's crucial that I've heard there are so many awful storytellers. There are so many people who their desire to be a storyteller is greater than their ability to tell a story.
Right.
And that's deadening.
Okay.
And
We're going to beat the storytellers.
the what?
We're going to beat the storytellers at their own game. He's not,
Always-
he's
you always-
not even a storyteller, and he's better than us.
They always come in at the end with a little kind of dig.
No, sorry, I don't mean them to be digs. I'm just trying to.
can't help it, it's in your
I'm a laugh.
There's a
Do you
little
think?
dig. There's just a little dig.
Is it a dig though? Are you a bit defensive?
I'm not answering that question.
Come here. You take on a lot. You work very hard.
Does it look that way? I guess I'm busy.
Yeah. I mean, the story thing sounds challenging. For example, you'd be doing that in between stand-up comedy. A play, no, it's a very challenging thing to do, and the play's gone on for quite a while.
Yeah.
You like to keep busy, do you?
It never feels like hard work, but I would have to say it's in my nature to choose things that are kind of just beyond my reach. And my body must be kind of slightly addicted to the stress of that. Slightly, I'm